Coming up big for the San Francisco 49ers, the acquisition of Bryce Huff from the Philadelphia Eagles might just be one of the smartest moves this franchise has made heading into the 2025 season. It's a deal that not only adds talent to an already dangerous defensive unit, but does so in a way that screams efficiency, foresight, and deep understanding of scheme fit. For Niners fans hoping to see another Super Bowl push, this trade should light a fire of excitement and optimism. Let's rewind for a second and unpack the details. San Francisco receives Bryce Huff, a player who not long ago was considered one of the best pure pass rushers in the league when used the right way. In return, the Eagles get a mid-round draft pick, specific compensation to be announced once the deal becomes official. The money side of the deal makes it even sweeter for the Niners. Because Philadelphia restructured Huff's contract before the trade, the Niners are on the hook for less than $8 million in 2025. Meanwhile, the Eagles clear about $2.4 million in cap space, save close to $8 million in total cash, and open up a roster spot. On the surface, that's a win-win, but dig deeper and it's clear. This was a much bigger victory for San Francisco. Why? Because Huff is a tailor-made fit for what the 49ers are building defensively under Robert Saleh's return. Let's not forget Saleh's fingerprints are all over the current makeup of this roster. His influence was clear during the draft. It's been present in free agency and is visible in the number of former Jets players now calling the Bay Area home. And while some critics might scoff at the idea of bringing in players from a franchise that hasn't exactly lit the world on fire, that argument lacks nuance. The Jets' failures were largely offensive, a carousel of quarterbacks, poor play, calling, and an overall lack of cohesion on that side of the ball. Defensively, under Saleh, the Jets were often among the most disciplined, hard-nosed, and aggressive units in the NFL. That matters because Huff blossomed under Saleh's tutelage. Coming into the league as an undrafted free agent out of Memphis, Huff didn't walk in with much fanfare, but under the right guidance he gradually developed into a pass-rushing force. That evolution didn't happen overnight. It was the product of coaching, usage, and a defensive philosophy that understood how to maximize his skill set, a philosophy he's now returning to in San Francisco. And if you look at what the 49ers have done this offseason, you can clearly see that they've been intentional about building up their defensive front. They spent their 11th overall pick on defensive end Mike Williams. They used the second rounder on Alfred Collins, and on day 3 they added CJ West, another defensive lineman, but even with those additions, the depth behind the starting edge rushers was thin. They released Drake Jackson, and the remaining group, Yetur Gross-Matos, Sam Okwainonu, and Robert Beal, raised more questions than answers. The team needed a specialized pass rusher, someone with speed, bend, and explosiveness off the edge. Someone who could win in one-on-one situations, especially in obvious passing downs. That's where Huff comes in. Bryce Huff isn't just a filler, he's an ideal piece for this scheme, particularly in what the Niners call their NASCAR package. In that look, you can slide Mike Williams inside to defensive tackle, taking advantage of his versatility, and let Huff come screaming off the edge. Williams, during his time at Georgia, frequently kicked inside and made plays from that alignment. Huff's presence allows for even more flexibility. And again, you're not paying a premium for this luxury. San Francisco is taking advantage of the fact that Philadelphia had to eat a chunk of the contract they handed Huff not long ago, $34 million in guaranteed money. Now the Niners get the upside without the long-term financial risk. And don't underestimate what this means for Nick Bosa. For years, Bosa has carried the weight of the 49ers pass rush almost entirely on his back. There was a moment when Ford was supposed to be that complementary threat, but injuries derailed his time in San Francisco. Since then, Bosa has often been double-teamed, chipped, and game-planned into less productivity than his talent warrants. With Huff on the opposite edge, offensive lines won't have the luxury of focusing all their attention on number 97 anymore. When we talk about Huff's ability, we're not dealing in hype. We've got the numbers to back it up. And in 2023, his Pro Football Focus overall grade was 79.7, which ranked him 33rd out of 197 edge rushers. But more impressively, his pass rush grade came in at 86.8, good for 11th at his position. That's elite company. He tallied 10 sacks and 67 pressures that season, all while playing fewer than 50% of the snaps. That efficiency is remarkable. In fact, among all edge rushers, he ranked 15th in total pressures, despite ranking only 56th in pass rushing opportunities. What does that tell us? It means Huff doesn't need to be on the field every down to make an impact. He's a specialist, yes, but a devastating one. And under Robert Saleh, who runs the wide nine alignment, a scheme built to create natural pass rushing lanes by spreading out the defensive line, Huff's speed and bend become even more valuable. That was one of the big problems in Philadelphia. Under Vic Fangio, Fangio's 3-4 scheme frequently asked Huff to stand up and sometimes even drop into coverage. That's not his game. He's not built for zone drops or edge contained responsibilities in the flat. He's built to get downhill and hunt quarterbacks. Period. And don't just take it from the numbers, take it from someone who lined up next to him. Brandon Graham, a legend in Philadelphia and someone who's seen it all, had nothing but praise for Huff. In an interview after the trade, Graham explained that Huff didn't fail in Philly because of a lack of talent. He struggled to stand out in a system that didn't utilize his strengths. Graham talked about the difference between what Huff was asked to do with the Jets in a 4-3 scheme versus what he was expected to handle with the Eagles under Fangio. It just wasn't a good fit. But now, back in a wide nine, back in a get after it system under Saleh, Huff is set up to thrive again. It's also worth mentioning how productive Huff was in metrics beyond just sacks. Sacks can be fluky. They don't always tell the full story. But pressures, quarterback hits, and win rates give us a clearer picture. In 2023, when looking at pass rushers specifically used in wide nine looks, Huff ranked 7th in quarterback. Hits and 8th in total pressures. Bosa, for comparison, was 1st in both categories. But here's the kicker. When measuring pressure percentage, Huff led the entire NFL. That's right. On 23% of his pass rushing snaps, he generated pressure. That level of disruption is rare. And if he can maintain even a fraction of that efficiency with the Eagles paying part of his salary, this becomes a massive steal for San Francisco. And Huff isn't being asked to be the alpha. He doesn't have to be the Batman. In this defense, he can be the Joker, chaotic, explosive, unpredictable, and leave the main responsibilities to the stars around him. That's a luxury he didn't have in Philadelphia. With Saleh calling plays and Bosa drawing attention, Huff will get more one-on-one looks than he's seen in years. That spells trouble for opposing quarterbacks. Let's not overlook his 2024 numbers either. Yes, the season didn't live up to the lofty expectations that came with his big payday, but the production was still solid. In just 182 pass rush snaps, he registered 20 total pressures and 17 hurries. His overall PFF grade was 68.3, and his pass rush grade was 68.2. Those aren't mind-blowing stats, but they're respectable considering the poor scheme fit. His run defense grade even improved to 60.2, showing a commitment to rounding out his game. Most impressively, he ranked 10th in pass rush win rate on true pass rush sets at 24%. Better than guys like Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, and even former Niner Arik Armstead. One of the key points in evaluating pass rushers is context. Where are they lining up? What kind of stance are they in? Are they in a three-point stance ready to explode, or standing up trying to read and react? Fangio used Huff almost exclusively on the left side and as a stand-up edge defender. That's not his strength. When he can put his hand in the dirt and explode forward from a low stance, that's when he becomes special. He's shorter than most tackles, which allows him to dip, bend, and stay low through contact, making him extremely difficult to block once he gains leverage. In 2023, under Saleh, Huff was 7th in pass rush productivity, a metric that measures impact per snap. And he did it more efficiently than names like Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby, and even Nick Bosa. That's no fluke. That's a guy who understands his role and executes it at an elite level. And let's not forget, Huff is only 27 years old. He's not some washed-up veteran clinging to a last shot. He's a player in his prime who broke out just a year ago with the Jets and now reunites with the coach who helped unlock his potential. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49er Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a surprising twist that has set the NFL rumor mill abuzz, there are growing whispers that veteran punter Thomas Morstead may be on his way to the San Francisco 49ers. While no official announcement has been made, multiple league insiders on social media chatter suggest that the 49ers are finalizing a deal to bring the seasoned specialist to the Bay Area. If true, this unexpected move could signal a strategic shift for the 49ers special teams unit heading into the new season. Morstead, widely regarded as one of the most reliable and consistent punters in the league, has built an impressive resume over his 15-year NFL career. Most recently with the New York Jets, Morstead demonstrated that even in the latter stages of his career, he remains a potent weapon when it comes to field position battles, an area where the 49ers have occasionally struggled. The potential addition of Morstead could raise questions about the future of the team's current punters, while also reflecting the 49ers' commitment to bolstering all facets of their roster as they continue their pursuit of a Super Bowl title. Known for his precision, hang time, and ability to pin opponents deep in their own territory, Morstead's skill set aligns with the 49ers' philosophy of minimizing risks and maximizing efficiency. Of course, as with any free agency chatter, caution is warranted. Teams often engage in exploratory discussions with multiple players during the offseason, and deals can fall through at the last minute due to contract terms, medical evaluations, or other unforeseen factors. Yet, the buzz surrounding Morstead's possible arrival in San Francisco has gained significant traction, with fans and analysts alike speculating about how his veteran presence could enhance the team's already formidable lineup. Adding further, intrigue is the fact that Morstead has expressed in past interviews a desire to compete for a championship as his storied career winds down. The 49ers, perennial contenders in the NFC, could represent the ideal landing spot for a player seeking one more shot at postseason glory. While nothing is set in stone, the prospect of Thomas Morstead donning the red and gold is certainly one of the most talked about storylines of this free agency period. Whether this rumor becomes reality remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: the San Francisco 49ers are leaving no stone unturned in their quest to return to the Super Bowl stage. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.